Thirsty.
Oh, jeez, hold on a second. I got a bunch of jack bags been lighting up my phone the fucking entire show. Which jack bags do you think it is? Yeah, I'm talking about you, Sprague, you jack bag.
Yeah, probably Sprague.
P. Join, jack bags. It's just like, it's like GIF after GIF after GIF. It's like lighting up my phone, the fuckers. Sorry. Let me switch views. Let me switch views here. Let me switch views to speaker so you can show us the.
Hold on, I got some wax to deal with.
The winner.
Ooh, Yamakasi 12 for the Rube.
Where is it, Viggs?
Here we go. 2016 Surly Darkness. Still has Todd's signature on the back. There's a lot of negative energy with Surly right now as they deal with reopening their beer hall and their anti-union technique, maybe perhaps during the pandemic. But I still love this beer. It's good beer. They make Furious is good, Axeman's good, Darkness is good, all the other stuff.
Whoa. Glug, glug, glug.
Beautiful tulip glass here. Bottled October 27th, 2016.
I am drinking water.
What a saint.
Well, no, I had to work in the morning. Actually, I got to meet the new president of the agency in the morning, so shouldn't be drinking. The time I did drink that entire bottle of wine, I had the rest of the week off. So
there you go. Yeah, that's delicious. Just like rich cocoa, dates, raisins, fig.
It's beer. How good can it really be?
It's really good. Really good stuff.
I
know Jared Klein doesn't like Surly, but Darkness is great. It's got kind of the best things like a Belgian and a Russian Imperial Stout.
Got a bunch of recognizable people in the chat tonight. I mean, I see Mote, there's Grey Eagle, there's Brenthoven, there's Steve, there's Tomps. And apparently, P join and Sprague. They keep sending pictures, but I'm not getting zapped anymore, guys, because I turned you guys on silent. So you can keep sending, but I'm not gonna hear it. So because it's annoying. Love the Darkness. I have it going back to 2015.
Yeah, I was trying to think like when I know I had the original Darkness at the Groveland Tap in St. Paul, and this has got to be a long time ago, but I remember seeing like the Darkness poster and hearing it was like 11% beer, and I was like, I'll have one of those. And I was like, oh, this is kind of good, because I was just kind of in that phase of my life where I was drinking the Summit India Pale Ale rather than the Extra Pale Ale or the Oatmeal Stout. And so that was kind of my gateway into craft brew, was drinking Summit India Pale Ale. And so then I was like, I like IPAs apparently. So that and Darkness.
Oh, and by the way, I did see a legit question by Jeremy earlier. He's like, do you ever change shirts? And I've actually thought, I haven't worn this shirt in years. I actually threw it on today, but I actually thought about, this earlier this season, just throw on the same shirt every night and see if anyone notices. Some idiot would. I don't know.
2007 is what Rube is saying is when Darkness started. That matches up with part of my craft beer revolution at the young age of 28.
Young age.
Long time ago now. I feel like I might have had it though 1 year before they released it in bottles. I feel like it was in they just did draft only 1 year maybe. So little beer knowledge.
Great. Now I think I'm getting text from Jeremy's wife. I'm getting a text from an unfamiliar number.
Careful.
And it's got a Bitmoji. Whose Bitmoji is that? I don't know. Don't poke the bear. Did I poke the bear? Is your wife listening right now, Jeremy? His wife gave up on the Huskies a couple years ago. She was all pissed off because they kept losing. Bet you she's back on the bandwagon now. Who knows? Who knows? Oh, it's actually Mrs. Sprague who's texting me now. Great. That's all I need. It's trouble.
She's the one who runs the house. There's trouble. Someone runs counterclockwise around their house.
That is accurate.
I think that's accurate for a lot of people.
I have to put these things on silent so I don't have to keep hearing it. Hide alerts. Yeah, there we go. My phone will keep buzzing. There we go. Silence. What's that sound? It's silence. That's right. I can't hear you. Oh boy. Tom's, I kind of had some questions. If you're still watching, Tom's, what was the score? What was it? 7-2 against Omaha? 7-2, 7-3? The shots were like 30-28 Minnesota. Does that sound right to you, Viggs, that Omaha had 28 shots on Minnesota? They had 2 more shots. I mean, I did, you have access to the real live stats like I do, and they were brutal all weekend. I mean, they kept putting the wrong guy scoring the goal. It would take them 20 minutes to correct it.
I still like when Dryden McKay was credited with a goal.
I guess I didn't see that one.
He is the most popular player on that team, but pretty sure he didn't score a goal.
Mazaka was saying it was basically a clown show out there this weekend. And you even heard him on the show the other night on the post game. He just like, the internet here is terrible. Like, he kind of threw the NCAA or the organizers under the bus.
It was Denver.
Yeah, Denver. He threw him under the bus.
Well, apparently they deserve to be thrown on their bus. I heard it was very disorganized. They had a couple of kids working the event who, they're 20-somethings who haven't done this a lot. And, people talk about why is it Minnesota bidding for all these regionals and stuff? Well, one, Excel doesn't want to do it anymore because it doesn't make them any money and it ties up dates. And 2, Minnesota's got to staff these things. And they take a lot of pride in staffing it well. And this just goes to show you what happens when someone like Denver hosts it, who doesn't know what they're doing for staffing an NCAA regional and does it really poorly. Like all the stats get messed up. Like all the post-game stuff is weird. Like they haven't figured out the Wi-Fi. So the Zooms are weird. The announcers for TV probably aren't very well prepared.
The Zoom was terrible because they had the group shot. And when I actually grabbed the video from it, I actually had to zoom in on these little sections just so you could see Motzko, because nobody wants to see us because most of us are just sitting there listening. So the Zooms were terrible. Didn't see the game at my son. Oh, sorry, Toms. It just, yeah, they must have had some rookies running it. It was just not good.
And that's
I'm guessing Deutsch and even Paul Allen for Mankato were having to go correct these people constantly.
Right. Like Paul Allen does a great job when he runs an event. He's the guy at Minnesota State. I'm happy for him.
He ran the Frozen Four when it's here.
Yeah. He's really good.
Excuse me. Sorry.
And maybe it's just whining on our part, but it makes a big difference when you're covering an event and you have people know what they're doing.
Well, like you said, you're not going to see events here unless... I guess technically I guess St. Thomas could build an arena and host an event because they're not NCAA eligible for 5 years. Maybe that would work.
That would be smart of them to do, is build the arena so it meets the minimum regional requirements.
Is it like 6,000 or something? I can't.
They lowered it.
Okay.
Yeah, so they lowered it, but and they lowered the guarantee. St. Thomas has got plenty of money, so they'd be able to figure it out. I think that'd be really cool for them to do. It's going to be interesting to see what St. Thomas does. I still am baffled why they haven't announced a coach, especially with all this portal stuff happening. I think you'd want to have your coach lined up so he could figure out if he wants any of these players before they pick somewhere else.
But
because if I'm the coach of St. Thomas, I want Jared Moe as my goalie. He's 6'4", he's technical, he's a drafted player.
Yeah, but are a lot of these players going to go there when they know that they're not going to have a chance to win an NCAA title for 5 years? I mean, any of these people going these first couple of years are just there to build the program, and they need to know that. Whereas guys in the portal right now want to win. And they can't
win at St. Thomas. You just won't win an NCAA title. Maybe Minnesota State can win an NCAA title, but how many other teams in the WCHA can win an NCAA title? How many teams in Atlantic Hockey can win an NCAA title? How many teams in ECAC can win an NCAA title? If that's your pedestal, well, you're going to have to go somewhere like St. Cloud or Denver, and you're going to have to compete for a spot there too. They don't just have an open goalie net for you or an open power play spot for you.
Thompson in the chat, make sure to call Mankato State to Paul Allen's face, then be prepared to duck. Oh, boy. I still call him Mankato State because that's what the name was when I went to the school. Sorry. Just the way I am.
I know. It's going to be tough, though.
It was before they were Division I. So I had Don Bros as an elective gym class I took. I took badminton just to get credits. Don Bros was my teacher for badminton. But it was just a different deal back then when they were not Division I. Coaches were teachers. Don Bros Don Bros was a long-time teacher down at Mankato State at the time.
I took some coaching prep classes at St. Olaf because there are some things that you're supposed to do if you want to be a high school coach that you have to do. It's some of your basic coaching education. You have to do some athletic training. You have to do some physiology type stuff to get certified. And all the coaches at a D3 school, that's part of their job, is to coach those little classes. So it's kind of a cool experience. I know some people have gone to schools where the D1 football coach is teaching class. I think who's the guy at Wazoo? Leach. He taught a class.
Well, some of them like to do it because they still enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's a little different. They kind of grew up with it. They're teachers. So I could see where some still like to teach.
Could you imagine taking a class from Don Lucia or Bob Motzko?
Motzko, yes. Don Lucia, no.
I could see Don teaching religion or something, or probably not fundraising though.
Yeah, he was on Beyond the Pond last weekend. He says, "Yeah, I did this for a year," and I don't know how much fundraising he actually got done in that year. I think it was, we'd see him at the rink, but it was weird. It was so weird.
He'll be a good commissioner, I bet. I bet he'll be good at that. Because he does put the game ahead of anything else. As much flack as he got for the age thing that he was trying to push through with the Big Ten.
Oh, yeah, that went over real well.
That's for the good of the game, though.
Oh, yeah.
What parent wants their kid to go play 2-3 years of junior after high school before they can even play college hockey?
Mm-hmm.
Does any parent want that?
No.
Probably not. Does any player want to go ride the bus for 2 or 3 years to play college hockey? No. That's why guys who are committed to schools like Minnesota, when they get pushed back a year, say, Maybe I'll go to Notre Dame. They want me. Or, oh, you're going to lower my scholarship money? Well, I'm going to go to Colorado College. Like Jensen from EP, he thought he was going to go to Minnesota. Now he's at CC. Probably a better school for him. And now he's older and he'll figure it out. But if there was an age limit, those guys would be in college sooner. It'd be more like college athletics for everything else.
Yeah, well, that's crazy. Crazy. Sorry, I'm just editing. I had to do so much editing last week. Nate was so soft. I was able to actually, edit, the audio. That was I just had to go through and raise his audio every time. But when it was, I had to do the same thing with the video as well. So
I feel like I'm getting shots on my Wi-Fi on the chat.
You did, feel like when you cut out there, all of a sudden you just froze out of nowhere.
I feel like for the most part, it's been better than when I was in the Civic. And I did go with a big upgrade to my internet when my kids started distance learning. So I don't know. Maybe I'll hardwire this office next year.
I'm actually hardwired, but because I've got your signal coming in. Obviously, it was before, same thing with before when I had all of your guys' audio coming in, then I have to send the audio out.
You got a lot going on.
And so I try to make sure. And plus, I've also got the video playing so I can see the chat. So our video is playing. So that's coming in as well, along with your videos coming in.
I've got the video playing, yeah.
So, but for me, it was more important just to have the outgoing. I've got 120 megabit up, so I don't worry about upload speeds unless there's some kind of glitch in the system. But I am also plugged in. My computer, once I plug into this, I've got one of these Thunderbolt monitors. Once I plug into that, I'm hardwired into the system. It's going all the way, it's hardwired Ethernet to the router. And so it's basically 15 feet to the router. And once it hits that, it's fiber the rest of the way out. So,
well, if I get really courageous, maybe I'll run some cable through my basement.
You should have done that when you finished it, man.
Well, the basement's still not finished.
Okay.
This office is this lovely space I've got here. My room rating would be pretty low because I still have the unfinished wall behind me, but working on it.
See, for me, it was fairly easy because below me, obviously, my house is originally built in 1890. I just drilled down into the cellar. There's no basement. There's a cellar below me. So that I can go in and then go into this closet right over here. And that's where I keep everything. So it's kind of nice. Yeah, but I've always tried to do hardwire for the podcast just because I needed to have at least a solid connection because the broadcast was originating from this machine. So
sorry everyone for letting you down. Monte, I apologize.
Well, it's it's not as bad when we have a guest on because I can just keep going with the guest and we just kind of make fun of you for a couple seconds. This time I'm like, oh, Figo froze. Well, we'll wait till he comes back. And then I'm kind of like, I hear you cutting in. I'm like, hold on. Just kind of wait until I can hear you making.
Gotta wait for the satellite to pass.
Yeah, we're I'm hardwired, Mote. It's not easy for everybody. I was able to do it because of my setup, but put the lotion in the basket, not the bucket. I do have a cellar though. And I do keep some wine down there. There's no wine down there currently, but it's a good place for wine.
We gotta upgrade your wine according to John King.
I liked my wine.
I'm sure it's great. I just want you to know there's more out there.
Yeah. Plus I'm cheap.
Yeah, I'm pushing you on the brown liquor and stuff, but we got to get you. I think my gift to you next time I see you might be a special bottle of Old Grandad 114.
Oh shit!
114 proof.
Oh boy!
Best value in bourbon.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Best value in bourbon. It's like 24, 25 bucks a bottle usually, sometimes 30, but it's great. Zach Slade to the podcast.
We got somebody who jumped on here. Zach Beach. Sorry if this was mentioned live. Any pressure on other forwards besides Ranta to leave early, like McLaughlin or someone a little more under the radar?
I don't think there's pressure on anyone to leave early just because,
Walker?
I mean, who on the roster right now is not a Bob guy other than Walker?
Come on, focus. Damn monitor. There we go.
Like who's on the roster at forward that's not a Bob guy now? Like it's Walker, right? Everybody else. Anybody help me on that? But I mean, Burke, Bob guy. McLaughlin, maybe not a Bob guy, but I think they see eye to eye.
Okay.
McLaughlin's kind of a roller coaster player, but they see eye to eye. Ranta, he's figured it out. Walker, who knows? You know, like so much talent skating. I don't know if he's gotten any better. His hockey sense hasn't gotten better.
It's been frustrating watching him because every once in a while, also, it was great that he got that dirty goal. That's where he kind of needed to, in the overtime game. It's like, take advantage of it. Come on.
Right. So anyway, keep going here by player Myers. Bob guy, Perbix, Bob guy, Brodzinski, got to get some better foot speed, but
I think it's technically Nelson.
Yep, technically Nelson. That's right. But I think Nelson was almost a guy who wasn't going to come to Minnesota for Lucia either. Like it was kind of unclear whether they were going to take him at the time. So maybe Bob kind of re-recruited him. And he does talk him up a lot on the broadcast and radio.
So he's actually so pressure from an NHL team. I think only possibly would be Ranta, wouldn't it?
I mean, Myers is getting pressure.
Yeah, he's a free agent though. So, but he can kind of do what he wants.
Yeah, the only people getting pressure are Lacombe, Johnson, Faber. I bet
the defense. Yes.
Yeah, because Kester, I think Scott Bell is like, hey, you're doing what you're doing. It's great. Keep developing. You're going to have to get bigger anyway to play pro hockey.
And it also helps that Bell was here. Let's keep me there a little longer.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That's kind of the lineup. I mean, Nevers is a Bob guy. Brinkman is a Lucia guy, but I don't think you do anything with that. Stucker's a Lucia guy, but obviously he seems to be okay doing what he's doing. Though I feel like he would get a better opportunity somewhere else. But he's a very popular guy, I guess, in the locker room.
Stucker?
Yeah. He knows apparently everybody in the Twin Cities. So whenever they go someplace, McManus was telling me the story. He's like, it's crazy. Everywhere we go, Stucker's got a guy. Like we're at the Mall of America, like trying to go somewhere. Stucker's got a guy. We're downtown trying to do whatever. Stucker's got a guy. We're in St. Paul. Stucker's got a guy. We're at a concert. Stucker knows somebody. He's like, he's a glue guy.
I think, I don't know. Maybe some of these guys are going to be like, hey, similar to North Dakota, let's come back. Let's get it done.
They got to do it then. They can't play the way they did in the games they lost, I think they do need a vocal captain, and I don't know who that's going to be.
Well, if Walker's back, he'll be the captain.
I mean, he will be, but
I don't think having a goalie the captain is a great idea. I mean, no. He's an assistant captain, but
we've heard over the year it's gotten weird when LaFontaine tries to be too captain-y. Have you heard that?
No.
Oh yeah, he's like, yeah. Jack's probably better when he just kind of focuses on himself. He gets a little hyped up, a little crazy, a little too literary.
Well, he's a goalie. What do you expect? Yeah. He's an outstanding interview when especially after he's won a game and he's all jacked up.
He's good after practice.
He's hilarious. Stucker. Yeah. Maybe Sorensen wasn't the right guy to have as the extra skater the other night, huh?
I mean, Sorensen's been kind of up and down for me this year. I would have used Stucker in that game because it's going to be a plotting game, and you want defensemen who can get pucks on net. Could have used them. And on that first power play unit, as dynamic as Johnson and Lacombe are, they just have not been calm on the power play. 5-on-5, they seem to do fine, but just something about the power play when they're out there, they just kind of change up and they have a little bit of hesitation or something. Not smooth.
What about Schmidt?
I think he's just an extra guy. He's paying his own way.
He's a big guy.
He's a big dude. He's a big dude.
Because, you notice he did get suited up and skated for the celebration.
Yeah.
In fact, pretty much everybody did except for Weber. But
yeah,
he was in the background, and he's 6'4" and on skates. I mean, he's a big dude. If he could have done anything, that would have been great because I can imagine he could go around and crack some skulls.
Yeah, I mean, he's bigger than Nelson. Nelson's a big dude too. I mean, those are the kind of walk-ons you want. It's just he hasn't played hockey in a year, so he's way behind. But it'd be nice if he hangs around. From all accounts, sounds like he's a good kid.
Oh yeah, he was out there threw on the uniform. He's got a jersey. He was on the trip.
And Sean, I'm sorry to call you out in the chat. Can't play slow. You can't play dumb is the issue in my mind. It's not about speed. The problem with this team is they skate themselves into dead ends all the time. You just can't do that. You can't skate yourself into a dead end. Like, you got to give yourself runway to make a play. So you either got to hold back and time it right, or you've got to skate to space, draw attention, and give it to another guy who skates in a space. And they just do not do that.
Okay. Now one little thing on that though, where they could have helped with their speed is their forecheck. Mankato was their defenseman had time to make decisions. They were getting it up to the sideboards pretty quickly because we didn't have somebody there in time.
But I think that comes from dumping the puck late in a shift when you're trying to change, or getting too stretched out and you've got a stretch pass where there's no support. That's why that happens. It's not because guys aren't skating fast. It's because all your timing's screwed up. You get somebody kind of fly in the zone or something and you get stretched out. So then if you run yourself into a car collision, there's no one to dish it to. So that's why it looks slow. It's not because they're not fast. It's just like you're not timed up. You're playing individually. You're not playing as a team and supporting each other. So that's why that happens, I think, a lot. And then you have players who chase shifts and they're out there 50, 60, 70 seconds trying to make a play. Can't have that in a team.
Yeah, there is that.
Like, I know in the NHL now, they've all got like the chips and stuff so they can measure time on ice live for the commentators. That would be pretty damning if you had that for the Gophers right now, because you'd have some interesting shifts.
Well, excuse me. They have those numbers though because they do wear those chips, or they wear something similar. It's not live, but they go back and look.
Yeah, they have the catapult stuff, and that's more for like how much distance did you skate? What was your top speed? What was your acceleration like? How many stops and starts did you have? Cal can figure it out. Like, is somebody favoring one leg or the other skating out there? Things like that. If they get hit, what are the forces on the player? And sometimes the hitting stuff, sometimes when you hit somebody, you're taking yourself out of the play and you're making it 4-on-4. Sometimes you take somebody out of the play and they, it ends the play or kills the play, but there's sometimes where you go chase a hit and now you've just opened up ice behind you. So, but yes, they do it a lot with this current group of kids. Like, Sandelin talks about how his team gets the experience of playing in tight games and they play the right way. Minnesota, unfortunately, has the experience of playing in these tight games and playing them the wrong way. And it's just like, it's like bad practice or bad habits become.
And we really hope they had learned with Michigan and Michigan State games.
I thought they did. I thought that's what turned my confidence around, was seeing them respond to that. And after the Wisconsin series, it seemed like they bounced back.
We did kind of mention Myers Johnson, but yeah, I think it's still too soon to figure things out. There's just,
if it was clear, he'd already be signed. All these guys, if it was clear that they were leaving, just like the guys in the transfer portal, it would have happened already. So the longer this happens, it means that the players are still evaluating what they want to do. And I get the sense that all these players are thinking they want to be back. So like Myers told Chris, or scouts who told Chris Peters that he wants to be back and don't pursue me. I don't want to sign. And then Russo, of course, reports that the Wild are interested in signing Myers. So I think that's more from the Wild that they're interested, rather than Myers is interested in signing.
I don't know. It's just, it is very disappointing, Viggs, but I kind of sat there all night on Sunday just going, I kind of expected, once they got down, I'm like, you could just see in that first period, they're not coming back in this game. I just didn't see anything that was telling me. I mean, what they had 3 shots in the first period, it was ridiculous.
I just saw them skate the puck into trouble every time down the ice. And like the only players who weren't doing that were like Reedy and Ranta. They were like the only players who didn't skate the puck into trouble.
Yeah.
Maybe Nelson, maybe too. And I said this to Micheletti in a message. I was like, it's not a good sign when Cullen Munson might be your star of the game at forward. Because he made a lot of great plays. He just doesn't have the skill to finish them. You know what I mean? But you could tell that he was making the right decision at the time and making the right play and putting the puck in the right spot or trying to do the right thing. It's like he was one of the few forwards who's doing that.
Okay. I also look, early in the game when they were still in the game, they were getting killed on faceoffs too. They did end up winning. They did end up winning the faceoff match, but it was by they won a lot in the third period when the game was already decided. So I think that's a misleading step. But you and I, we were both noticing that
first period,
right off the first period.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing when they're on the power play.
I don't know if it's embarrassing, but I don't like to say embarrassing, but
it was embarrassing.
That's you. That's not me. I don't think it was embarrassing, but it had to be frustrating for them.
Where is it? God, the full thing doesn't show shots by period.
What are you looking for?
I was looking at the full thing. I can't find it. Oh well.
Because College Hockey Inc. has College Hockey.
They do. I mean, I thought the Minnesota, full stats had that. I guess they didn't.
What are you looking for? The faceoffs?
No, I was looking at the shots per period because it was like, I want to say towards the end of the second period, they only still had the first period they had maybe 6 shots. It was something really ridiculous.
14-5 in the first, 7-4 in the second, and then 6-13 in the third. Minnesota power play 0-4. And then you look at their shots in the advanced stats on the power play. 7 blocks, 4 misses, 6 saves.
23 blocks by Minnesota State.
Yeah, 23 blocks. Walker, 1 for 5 on the dot. I bet those 5 faceoffs, a couple of them are probably power plays too. Sometimes you probably just got to go. I don't know why they don't do this. Why Walker didn't play wing? Because when they did that, who did they do that against? Where they put Walker to wing? Was it Notre Dame?
No, I don't remember.
I think it was at Notre Dame. They moved Walker to wing, and 3-0, 3-0. Does that not tell you something? A team that you got swept at home against, and you go to Notre Dame and you change that up and it works. Wouldn't that be something you'd want to try in a game like against Minnesota State because they play kind of the same way? I don't know. Kind of want to.
Actually, Zach, I didn't think there was going to be a dud game, but it came pretty apparent very quickly when they didn't have a shot on goal for most of the first period. And all of a sudden it was 1-0. And it was 2-0.
I thought I said this on the podcast leading up to the regionals. I thought they could overcome a bad period if they played like they did against Wisconsin and Michigan. But they didn't do that. Like against Wisconsin and Michigan, they went to the body blow game and they had a ton of zone possession. Like one of the Brodzinski goals, he did an escape move at the dots basically and created space and created a goal out of nothing. You know, Ranta did the same thing once. Like they found ways to create space, but they just didn't.
And the thing is,
didn't do that.
And yeah, they could have had a bad period, but like if they didn't give up any goals in the first period,
yeah, different story.
But
they fell behind in those.
I don't know if they looked tired, Mote. Maybe they were stupid and stayed up and watched that damn North Dakota Duluth game.
I had a great tweet at me. He's like, obviously, this is just another example of the age difference. You know, all the Minnesota State players, they watched Jeopardy, they had their dinner, and they fell asleep on the couch. All the Gopher players went back to the hotel and played Xbox and knee hockey until 2 a.m. And that's why they were tired. It's like, that's what you get when you have a young team. Jeepers. Xbox and ball hockey. I was like, wow. That's funny. Cal Dietz always told me, he's like, one of the hardest things with college athletes is getting them to sleep enough. Because it's not physical fatigue, I think, that causes all this stuff. It's mental fatigue and just like not mentally being engaged to play the right way.
Yeah, the only physical fatigue was in that Wisconsin game. Third period. They were just
third
out
period,
of gas.
third game. Yeah.
And it wasn't until, Motzko took a timeout and said, hey, guys, let's just keep it together. We don't need to be offensive. Just sit back and play smart. And then they won.
Short shifts, stay above the puck, and don't take bad chances. The blue lines. I'm guaranteeing you those are like the three things. And because they had a bad change, they had no back pressure, and they had a turnover, and they had a face-off play, you know. They brought their Xbox, Thompson. They didn't. That's what kids bring now for toys. It's not race cars.
But they're fucking toys. Oh boy.
When it happens year after year, isn't it? Thought it was going to be different.
There we go, thinking again.
It's more fun when they win.
Well, duh. We would have got a couple more podcasts in. Because I had 3 scheduled if we needed it. We're going to do it tonight. We're going to do it, tonight, next, right before the Frozen Four, and then after. But no, team had to lose.
Yep. No more beers of the week for me.
Oh, you'll keep drinking. Maybe you should just hey, we would have had a show tonight if they would have won. Here's the beer choices. We'll just start about 10:30. We're just start with overtime. Screw the rest.
Start right into OT. Right into OT. No, it's not going on your podcast network.
Oh, jeez. I don't know, Viggs. I don't get worried.
Sometimes wish that I could get some more honesty on some of my questions, though, like about what's going on with players and like why that power play group stuck together all year. That like Lacombe, McLaughlin, Walker.
Oh, and we moving the puck really well.
No, they're not.
He said that a lot. We're moving the puck well.
Yeah. No, they're not. They have possession. All the power play groups gain the zone fine this year. Like I know, like that might be the most frustrating thing to watch when you're watching a hockey team is a power play that can't gain the zone. not the problem with this team. Those guys are fine coming up the ice. It's in the zone. There's just something broken there. It's frustrating.
Well, yeah.
I wish I could get a good answer about it. I was not. My answers were insufficient this year, and on Zoom, it's really hard to go, "Hey, can I grab you in the hall?" It's a BS answer. What do you really? What do I really need to know about this? Should I stop asking? Do you want me to stop asking? Do you want me to ask more? Because sometimes Bob would be like, "Hey, ask me this more. Like, bring it up. I want to talk about this." No chance to do that this year.
No. I think he enjoyed that.
I don't know.
Well, he would only get annoyed with Jess. He started trying to cause a goalie controversy.
That's funny. It's more funny in person, though. It is, isn't it?
Are you crazy?
Are you crazy?
Oh, man. I think I've still got that.
Is it a discipline issue?
I think I still have that audio somewhere. Are you crazy? Oh, man. That video is probably still out on Periscope somewhere, and Periscope gone tomorrow.
Is it?
Periscope dies April 1st. It's gone. They're just going with the Twitter live. So, you could still kind of go back. You could kind of find that stuff on Periscope from when I originally, had those live. But Periscope dies tomorrow. Glug, 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 glug.
No glugs. That's the end of it. I think this might be my last 2016 darkness.
No Crowley, Ballard, or Martin or Leopold on the point to make the right choices. Well,
those guys don't come along very often.
Well, like you said, you weren't really happy who was on the point for the power play.
I would just have Castor out there for the 2 minutes right now. Just because, I mean, as good as Lacombe and Johnson can look at times, I just don't trust their decision-making yet. And, I would have played them on the power play, through February. But once we got to February, I almost would have said, Mikey, you're staying out there with two different groups of forwards. Stay out there as long as you want to. Because he made so many good decisions with the puck on the power play and was able to manipulate things with shooters and shot blockers. He was thinking hockey sense wise. The other players, great skill, not great hockey sense, if that makes any sense.
Well, then that's on Bob.
I mean,
it's on Bob.
He joked, when he was hired, he's like, well, if I don't get it right, I'm sure you'll tell me what I'm doing wrong. It's well, I'll wait a little bit, but okay, 3 years in, I think he screwed that up this year. And I'm sure there's more to it than just, the simple personnel stuff, but man, that's why you're getting paid.
Like you said, Stucker did better on the power play than, he hasn't even playing, but last year he was the captain of the power play. And the power play wasn't great last year, but it was better than this year.
When he got benched, basically, after what game was it? Maybe it was the Wisconsin game or something, where he pinched at a play near the benches and an odd man rush went the other way and they scored a shorthanded goal against him. And Bob was pissed about it. And I think that's part of Stucker not being a Bob guy and Bob not giving him any slack. I'm just okay. If that's how you want to do it, then you better have somebody else who can fill that role and allow you to bench the guy. Or you just eat it and just go, okay, we're moving on. You know what I mean, though?
Oh, yeah.
He didn't get to play on the power play again after that decision. And I'm sure I could look back and figure out last shorthanded goal against and pin it down. But after that play, he disappeared from the lineup, basically. That's a pretty short leash. Same thing with Mo. Very short leash.
He was publicly, not this season as much, but last season, I thought he was kind of mean with Mo.
Oh, he was mean with Mo at the Wisconsin game. He basically said, like, hey, you want to be playing goalie? Well, when I put you in there, you better be ready. In that game, like where
they were already getting their asses handed. Well, I'm just saying it started last year.
Right.
But
it continued.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure Mo was like, hey, am I going to get a start? At least a popper, So.
Yeah, Kester, yeah. Faber. Obviously Faber kind of woke up for that. It's just all about keeping people now, Viggs. It really is. It's all about keeping those defensemen for next season. If they keep that same defensive core and he figures out the power play, and like you said, maybe Lucius on the power play would really help. I think preseason they're ranked top 5 or higher. I think they do. Especially if LaFontaine comes back, they're going to be highly ranked.
Yeah. Yeah. If Laffer's back, they might be top 3.
Yeah.
I mean, who else would you? I mean, North Dakota probably is still a top team. BC lost everybody.
Bunch of sophomores. That just killed them.
Right. Wisconsin's losing Caulfield. I mean,
probably Holloway too, depending on his injury, but
yeah.
And like you said, it came out, broke his thumb.
We knew something.
And we were like, it's either a shoulder or then you're like his hand or wrist, or you'd obviously never know.
It's something in his right side for taking draws, a bottom hand issue for draws. That's what did it. So
what about the schedule for next year? How do we know anything about how are they resolving like the North Dakota contracts, the Duluth contracts? Is this something where they just, hey, we'll just take this and put it to the end of the contract? Do we know anything?
I was told everything was going to bump out a year. Like everything that was planned.
So are they shifting the entire schedule, or are they just taking like this and going like this?
That's what I heard, is the whole schedule is just going to shift for their non-conference stuff.
Except for maybe Duluth, because obviously they already had a previous commitment, so they're not in the Icebreaker that shifted a year.
Right. They're not in the Icebreaker, but they weren't in the Icebreaker last year either.
Or weren't they supposed to be this season, though? Current season wasn't the Icebreaker.
Well, I mean, for 21, 22, I think, but they're not in the Icebreaker.
This current season, they were supposed to be in the Icebreaker.
Nope, they weren't. I think it was Minnesota State. I will look for you.
I thought we had, and then when they canceled the Icebreaker, Minnesota said, well, we can't go to next year's because we already have a commitment. I thought that's what the deal was.
Go to our future schedules page.
Icebreaker 2021, October 9th and 10th. Minnesota, Duluth, Minnesota State, and Providence was the original teams with Minnesota. We've even got it on our future schedule page. It was supposed to be this past season in 2020.
Let me take a look here at what.
Got him, folks. I finally got Viggs on something.
See, July 14th. They postponed it.
Yeah, but originally it was scheduled. The Icebreaker was scheduled at Amsoil this season to open up the season.
So the Gophers pulled out of it for the postponed.
Yeah. So
Providence and Minnesota State remained.
Yep. And then we couldn't because
I have to take a break.
Yeah, it's all good. He's got to go pee, folks.
Vamp for yourself. I'll be back.
No, but essentially it was what we were saying is like, Minnesota was scheduled for that Icebreaker. They rescheduled the Icebreaker for this coming season, the 2021-22 season. Minnesota already had a previous engagement. I would love to know what that previous engagement is. We don't know. So I'm kind of curious how are we starting the season off this year? What are we doing? Deutsch, where are you? Where are you, Deutsch? This is where I need Deutsch. I got to hit somebody. If anyone finds out, I don't care, if we're playing, I don't know who we're playing, but if anyone finds out the opening day of the hockey season, let me know. Because then I can start my little countdown clock. Get that thing going on the website. Talks amongst yourselves. Yes, Peter. I'm talking amongst myself right now. Pretty good at that. I'm out of water. I got nothing but ice. Wow, Vic's got some workout weights there. Looks like a yoga mat. One of those workout bowls. What else can we do with these? Yeah, so I just kind of curious. What does that do for their Duluth kind of contract? Because the Duluth thing was 4 home and home series in 5 years, 8 games. Though looking at what was supposed to be this year's schedule, we were going to go to North Dakota. Colorado College was coming in. Interesting. The Mariucci Classic had Lowell, St. Cloud, and Colorado College. So I have to check that. Were we possibly playing CC 3 times? I'm not really sure. Not really sure. Vig's finally moved up to the 5-pound. Yeah, he did. So Vig's got to get his headphones on here for him to hear. And he's also on mute.
I'm back.
So Vig's, I'm looking at the original plan. You know, we had that page up on GPO. They were supposed to be they're supposed to be in the Icebreaker, got canceled. We were supposed to go to UND. I assume we'll go to New UND this next season. We were supposed to have Colorado College come in. That didn't happen. Maybe and then actually, you know, the Mariucci Classic had, you know, UMass Lowell, St. Cloud State, and CC. It's kind of strange. We could have potentially played CC 3 times.
Right.
Maybe all of that stuff got pushed out of here. So maybe our Mariucci Classic this coming season is Lowell, St. Cloud, and Colorado College. Maybe CC's coming in, going to UND, but there's just so many unknowns because, you know, we had that, you know, 8X games with UMD, 4 home and home series in 5 years between 2018 and 2022. Obviously, we missed it last year with the Icebreakers this year. That's skipped. So maybe there's going to be another home and home series with Duluth at another point next year. We can hope so. It's just,
I know that when I talked to a certain athletic director, they indicated that we might be going back to home and away weekends with Duluth. So,
drunken weekend, Vigs.
Hey, working weekend. Maybe they can play early.
I don't like to work that. I don't like to work that weekend. You can work. I'm not working.
I'm fine. I can do both. I mean, we go late in the overtime. I can go late with work and everything.
Oh boy.
But yeah.
So we play. And then we'll have to update this page eventually here because we know that we're going to have to go to Arizona State at some point. I'm guessing it's not going to be next season. They're going to wait till arenas open up, or till their new arena opens up.
So Hapke, there's 2
that's kind of
locations next year. Just FYI. Hapke in the chat is talking about the Holy Cross Icebreaker. There's going to be 2. There's one in Duluth and one in.
Oh, so they're just kind of, yeah, that's good.
Sorry, I'm just going to talk over you every once in a while. It's okay.
I don't care. Go ahead. I was on the future schedules page. I wasn't even looking at chat. So,
okay. Yeah.
Holy Cross. Yeah. We need to go to Holy Cross. Yeah. Maybe we're part of that one.
I don't think
maybe we're part of that icebreaker. We just don't know it. I don't think actually Minnesota would do that.
No.
And I was actually telling people, if anyone finds out the first game Minnesota plays, not exhibition, first game, let me know. I don't care if I mean, even you Vigs, if Deutsch is good.
If I get a Freedom of Information Act request and I figure it out and Deutsch tells me, please don't release that yet. I'll give you the date.
I just want the date so I could do the little countdown clock. I don't care who we're playing. I just like to try to like, hey, when's our first game? I don't care if it's, Duluth or if it's Vermont coming here or whatever it may be. If anyone knows that, let me know. What are you doing?
Showing off my exercise equipment.
Oh yeah, Tom's is like, oh, you moved up to the 5-pound weights.
Do you know how long a wait it is to get those new Bowflex adjustable barbells or dumbbells? It's like 5 months. Been waiting for 3 months already.
Meeg's ready. Vase is ready to return to the meat line.
I'm getting there. I'm doing my split squats. I'm doing my lunges. I just got to get. I know. I've got these bands, and I know Cal Dietz is really into band work.
Yeah.
I need him to coach me on how to do it.
Oh boy.
I'm not sure how to use the bands.
Now it's your turn to be alone because I need to go get some more water. So you talk to the fans. Let's see how you do by yourself.
All right. Yeah, I'm getting old. I apparently developed some tennis elbow from tearing up cardboard as I cleaned up my basement to finish it. And so that hurt some of my stuff. And then I hurt my heel with some sort of bone spur thing. And so I've been using my 15 and 20 pound weights to try and do all my tricep, bicep, front raises, side raises, flies, reverse flies, all that stuff. I had this workout program, lunges, all that, try to get ready and be healthy to handle more weight. And I've got some bands too, but I'm just not very good with them. So I'm working on it. I'll figure it out at some point. Maybe once I can get back into a gym. But yeah, I'm getting old, so I got to do that maintenance work.
Getting old. Jeez.
I feel like I hurt my forearm carrying my kid in like the car seat thing, like probably 4 times. So I probably have just some issues here in this area. But I tell you, getting old's tough.
North Dakota, easy question there, Zach. Maybe Wisconsin.
Nah, I don't worry about Wisconsin. Their fans don't know anything. And you can always say back, the football title thing with Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Their
fans are the dumbest.
They are bad. They don't really know much.
I fully give them 1,000% credit for atmosphere when I've gone to the Kohl Center. It looks like it's gone down in a couple of years, but the atmosphere is great. They make a lot of noise. They're out singing and chanting, whatever. God, are they stupid. I swear at times it's a 1-on-3 with a Wisconsin guy coming, and it sounds like a high school game here in Minnesota when all the girls start screaming. You know how the crowd just gets excited when, at Mariucci, we get excited when there's a 3-on-1, 2-on-1. They get excited when it's the opposite. And I'm like, what are you doing? So I haven't been to Kohl Center in a while, but that's been my experience, is that these are really stupid fans. I don't know. Brent,
a lot of tennis elbow fixes for me in there. I got the brace. I did the stretches. I did the massages, did the icing. It's finally going away. Like 3 months later.
Wow, you're just old.
Well,
I'm already starting to plan my 50th birthday vacation.
I think I saw that on Facebook, maybe.
Yeah, I need to start planning because I'm thinking maybe the Dominican. I went to Dominican and I really liked it. I think I want to go back there for my 50th. We shall see. Did you see all the North Dakota dump beer on celebrating? No, I didn't see it. Dakota fans. I didn't.
I think it was
that.
one fan went up to the glass where North Dakota was celebrating and just dumped his beer. And you know what? I guarantee he regretted that move, not because he dumped the beer on the fans, but because he didn't have a beer to drink in the next OT. You know, if he knew that goal was going to be waved off, no way he would have done that. That beer was too valuable, even with getting in there.
I'm wondering if he got booted, because it's easy to hide when it's a full crowd.
Right.
But when you're a moron going into the corner and dumping beer on somebody, it's pretty obvious you're the only one there. Hey, at least the ice was good in Fargo.
Well, Jess, one of his best articles of the year, no kidding, was on the ice guy who worked the regional. He's from St. Cloud. And when they had the regional up at Fargo, the people who were running it was like, we got to get good ice for this. Let's talk to this guy, because he's like the local expert on ice. And he got them to put in the logos early so they could have it built up for some hockey games. And he shared like the schedule of like temperature readings, depth drilling, like all this stuff that they do to monitor the ice conditions. And he's like, if they hadn't have done that, that ice would have been gone in the first OT. And because they had the foresight to do that, that was the only regional that had good ice.
Doesn't Loveland have a junior team?
They have a ECHL team.
Oh yeah, okay, there you go.
Right?
Why was it so bad?
Because they put the logos in too late. And
but
they
you know
don't
what?
build up the ice.
They did that every year at the X for the Final Five.
That's because they know what they're doing there.
Okay. Yeah.
They know what they're doing. They shave off the ice to the logos, and then they like melt off all their decals that they put under the ice.
We've seen them at the Final Five do this. Yeah. They scrape it down. Yeah, we've seen it many times at the Final Five, because once the Final Five's over, everyone's off the ice.
And then they slowly build it back up.
Yeah, they're already getting ready for, they're getting the Fox logo off and all that other stuff.
And they do it around the clock. And I've worked in an ice arena and I've put in ice. You have to build up the ice like spritz by spritz by spritz by spritz until you can do the Zamboni. And then you can do the Zamboni, and you just have to put down thin layers of ice so they all bond. If you put too much water down, it'll all turn to slush because it doesn't bond up. It doesn't have any strength. It's like if you had thick Kevlar.
It's like a phone book.
It wouldn't flex.
It's literally like a phone book. It's just tiny little layers, and it's heated water too, isn't it? So yeah, it's heated water. So it's heated water. So it as it hits that layer of frozen ice, it slightly melts it, so it can bond with that previous layer better. Correct? Isn't that how it's supposed to work?
And it evens out any ruts in the ice as it melts it. So it's
except all for the big ones,
level, except for the big ones.
And we did have a Rubes game many years ago, where before we had our game, they were doing speed track practice or something. And it was literally like, were you with the Rubes when that happened, Viggs?
Yeah. You got to put a cone down and move the cone. If we have any coaches in these 30 left, if you have people where they're doing turns, you got to move the cone every once in a while. You can't just leave the cone in the same spot.
Because this ice was up at the Super Rink, and this ice was so bad. It was like, when you're driving and you go off to the side and you hear some brrr, It was literally like that as you were entering the zone, both sides. It was really bad. I mean, the puck would just start bouncing like this. But yeah, the rest of the regionals were embarrassing. I thought Loveland, Ranta said the first night that it wasn't that bad. But
They were up 7-2.
Even that is true. But
only one end of the ice was being used at a time.
My Mankato friend I was texting with that during that game, she's like, I know my Mavericks are winning, but this ice is embarrassing because it's bouncing like a basketball. And that's a shame.
And sometimes I wonder, like the pucks, like do they have a freezer in the scores table? Because sometimes it looks like the pucks are just like coming out of a microwave. Well,
like at Mariucci, they actually have an ice bucket. They do it. They just dump ice in there. I noticed at the X, they actually have a refrigerator. They have a little freezer down there.
Yep, that's a lot of rinks I worked at or have been at working or whatever. There's usually a freezer in the scores box for pucks, for game pucks.
Yeah, I believe
makes a difference.
We even did that a couple times with the Rubes. We had a couple of pucks we froze before the game, and we would try to grab those pucks because we just grabbed one of the 50 practice pucks out there, and we actually froze a couple of those pucks because it is a huge difference.
Makes a difference.
Yeah,
I think the Brodzinski thing was more about the contact than the ice.
Yeah, it was just a goofy thing. It wasn't a dirty hit or anything like that, I don't think.
I mean, it wasn't clean. Yeah. He clipped him. That's the other thing. I'm tired of these hockey players clipping people. If you want to hit somebody, skate right through them. Like you see so many people like do the elbow thing or
and if anything, get lower.
Well, if you're a big person,
if you just kind of if you're going to check something, if you can just get down a little bit, you're going to hit it right in the chest.
I had a couple of games where like I'd have people and it wasn't on purpose, but they would like skate right into me. It's like I'll skate right through you. If you're a big guy, if you hit somebody head on, they're going to get the brunt of it. You're going to be fine.
Yeah, it amazes me how many. Obviously we know there are some taller players, there's some smaller players, but it's so many guys have not learned yet. Vigs. I was watching some of these high school games.
It's worse in the high school.
Games. My gosh! There was a clear. I saw it earlier tonight when they showed the replay going to commercial. I'm like, a kid put out his leg, and he tripped the guy. The guy went flying, and there was no call. I'm like, going, my God, who won that game anyway? What happened? Did you follow that?
No, I didn't follow it, but I've seen those in the high school games.
Oh, the high school game refereeing, it was brutal. Oh, that kind of reminds me. Could they've done some reffing in that North Dakota, the Duluth game? Nothing called in 5 overtimes.
Yeah.
That is clearly just
Fight Club 30 on GPL. He hates that.
Well, of course he does, because he's a referee. He's like,
well, you may think you're changing the game by making a call, but you're also changing the game by not calling anything.
Bingo.
Like there's a reason that game can go to 5 OTs when you just let the rule book get thrown out, and now any bit of contact, unless it's a clear scoring chance it's taken away, is fine.
Okay, I'm gonna scroll through the Twitter here, see if I can find out.
Tim, I will take a closer look and see how much the rut played a part.
Ooh, the Timberwolves won. Yippee skippy.
Wild are down 2-1 with 10 minutes to go in the third.
Oh, geez, I forgot about the Wild. CJ Zero was not happy about the ticker of New Valley Sports North.
Oh,
I don't blame him. Ooh, so it was not. It looks like Maple Grove did win. I didn't see what the score was, but Maple. No, I don't see it. But yeah, Valley Sports North. Oh, it's 5-2 over Andover. So that was not a good game.
I think there's some empty netters in that one or something. It was pretty close in the third when our podcast started.
Scrolling through it. Jeez. Yeah, I was Kaprizov. I call it Kaprizov. I still end up calling him Kaprizov for some reason. I don't know. I just sounds better to me.
Good luck pronouncing this name for San Jose that just scored.
Why?
It's another KKY.
Oh gosh.
I'm not as up to date on my Sharks players like I used to be.
Hapke says it's 3-1.
It is now. Somebody just beat.
Let the ticky tack stuff go in overtime, but there are a couple pretty bad no calls during these. Of course, there's going to be. I mean, you don't play 5 periods without, or not 5. They played 4+ periods without a penalty. I mean, come on. Where did they come from? What do you mean? Where did they come from, Mote? Are you wondering about the name? So, because nothing changed about FSN other than the name. Their branding.
I think it's Bally's Gambling versus Bally's Fitness Center that he might be talking about. Because I think the Bally's Fitness Centers are gone. But Bally's Gambling Network is making money. Yes. I have no idea if they're related. I mean, Sinclair
was in trouble. Sinclair had lost. They paid too much for these networks. They needed to do something to help make money. Uh-oh. Stick a fork in Vegas.
Old Fitzgerald. 13-year, 100 proof, spring 2019. Ooh.
I can hear that. Oh, nice. These Yeti microphones are pretty good.
Bottle and bond.
By stick of. So
nice. So decanter.
So good news on the Zoom. So our company merged with our parent company and came a new company, and they started the process of merging our Zoom accounts. So I had a new Zoom account today, and it looks like the Zoom account, I still have the same capabilities. I still have the old one, so I use it today because it was literally today where they set up a new account.
Okay.
It looks like we're good for next fall. Because they could have easily just said, hey, we're not allowing streaming or things like that. They would allow recording, which I forgot to do tonight. So the podcast is coming off the Zoom, the original feed. But now let's hear the dirt Vigs getting juiced.
It's hard to give any dirt this year. I mean, it's
we don't see anybody.
Yeah, you don't see everybody. So I only get a couple people to give me dirt, and I don't want to burn them too much. So I'm gonna have to hold back a little bit.
And folks, he doesn't even tell me this stuff. He doesn't tell me anything.
I'm going to have to just give some of my personal opinions on things and not any dirt. Sorry. So maybe there'll be some...
Come on, keep drinking. Keep a little quicker, a little quicker. If we can get him drunk, maybe he'll say something, folks.
No, there might be some dirt in the fall after I see people, but it's hard right now. It's just like...
We don't see anybody. Like I haven't seen you in over a year, except for over Zoom.
You get some of the best stuff like after availability, before availability, or being at practice. And every once in a while being at practice, you'll sit with somebody in the stands who's influential and knows a lot of stuff and will tell you stuff. It's great.
Does Bob keep Gordon as an assistant? Ooh.
I mean, there could be a situation like with Scott Bell where Gordon says, hey, Bob, I got an offer to do this. And Bob goes, boy, it'd be really hard to turn that down, wouldn't it? Be ashamed to pass up an opportunity like that. Who knows? I don't know. I feel like Bob hired Ben because he needed an alum. He
That
needed
is, yeah, he did have to have somebody.
he needed somebody connected with the program when he was hired. If Ben wants to advance, he's probably going to have to go somewhere else. Like if Ben has aspirations of putting himself as a head coach somewhere in college hockey, he's going to need to eventually at some point be a head coach somewhere. And whether that's in the USHL, which can sometimes be a bit of a abyss, like you can go to the USHL and never come back, or you can do it like Mike Hastings and go there and win. And then you have your choice of jobs in the NHL, AHL, or college hockey. So
Brandon Molesky, another clean hit leads to a melee. We must have missed something.
Looked like there was a Hartman fight, something.
Yeah, we talked about it. Like when a game starts, those guys fighting, and they're joking in the penalty box afterwards. Yeah, some people didn't like it when I tweeted that. I'm like, come on, if they're fighting to start a game,
those people are like, it's like a dog whistle to them.
It's like, I'm like, when they're joking in the penalty box afterwards, what the fuck are you doing? And just like Molesky just tweeted, like another melee. I mean, how many times does that happen? Somebody gets a good clean hit, somebody gets pissed off. If it's a dirty hit, damn right, do what you got to do to protect your guys. But when somebody gets a nice, good old hip check and somebody goes flying, don't start a fight. It's just dumb. And please feel free to tweet me. I'll just block you. Blocked a bunch of people this week. It was fun.
I don't block anybody really. I don't care. I got pretty thick skin.
No, I just don't like the garbage in my timeline.
I don't care unless it gets to be where someone starts doing what happened to you during the show. They're probably still not listening, but
no, they stopped. It finally stopped.
That's a good way to, like, if you're doing it simply to annoy me, maybe I would. But if you're just trying to,
yeah. Seriously, okay, wait. Let me go back. It was ridiculous, dude.
If you're getting what I got this week for doing, quoting Bob, I don't care. Whatever.
So here it is. Here's the beginning, and it just went on, and then they got into GIFs. It was just, this is what was coming through to my phone as we're doing a live show. Yeah. Apparently you can only unsubscribe to certain, you have the option on info here to, I did turn off the alerts, but the leave conversation was ghosted out. I couldn't leave the conversation. It's not working.
Yeah. I've got a couple numbers muted. just saying, like it shows up in my feed, but I don't get a buzz every time. Cause I've got an Apple Watch too.
Oh,
part of my fitness routine here.
Oh, geez. So it's gonna buzz.
So it just buzzes on my wrist, and I'm just like, oh, I'm done with that. So,
come on, give me control here.
How are 27 of you still listening to us? That's what I want to know. Are you waiting for me to finish this bourbon?
They want you to be hammered.
It's not going to happen. I'm a big guy. I'm 6'3", 265. Not
probably
exactly
had a good dinner.
I had a great dinner tonight. I got vaccinated, so I had filet that I sous vide, and then I had some roasted potatoes, some roasted onions, a little bit of a Caesar salad, a little bit of seared broccoli.
Just unlike me when I had the bottle for the John King podcast.
Yeah,
I ate it like 4 or 4:30.
I think I Instagrammed my meal. I had a little Bordeaux. I had a little Bordeaux wine. You'd like that.
Maybe.
Hot Medoc Bordeaux.
Okay.
Yeah, overtime is fun. I've enjoyed this. This has been, especially during the pandemic, it's been very healthy for me. I don't know if you guys can tell. Yep, there it is. There's the mail. See?
Sorry,
Nope.
Instagram does it like it goes back fast. Do I have to like hold it down? Okay. It's like the timer. I don't like that sometimes. Just let me have control. I don't know. Instagram's weird.
Yeah, so it was a big day in the video household.
Overtime has been pretty fun. And I think the video thing has made all the difference in the world.
This would be different.
Focus, damn it.
Yeah.
There we
Jupe's camera is getting drunk in overtime. What did Jupe's camera have in overtime?
It's better than this camera.
I totally agree with you. Yeah, the balance on there.
The white balance is really bad on this, and I can't adjust it. It's not as high quality, but the depth of focus is better. It doesn't go out of focus. Whereas this other camera, sometimes it's always like searching.
I went to the iPhone camera for this and the ring light.
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't like is that you're vertical. You're not filling the screen.
If everyone went vertical.
That's what she said.
When I went horizontal, the camera changes kind of.
Hapkes, what are you going to do for the next 6 months on Wednesday nights? You know how many times I want to take a nap in the afternoon because I know I'm going to be up late. And then I'm like, well, if I get a nap, my hair will be all smashed up this way, and I got to look fairly decent. Best GPL moments of this year. Jupe Awards. I know there's no Jupe Awards.
I don't know though. It could be Eric Vigo figuring out who Bonin is.
No, that's not the same person though. I replied, dude. It's not the same
person. Yeah, you did. It's Karen.
No, Karen is Bonin.
Karen is Bonin.
But isn't it Bonin 21, the annoying one?
I think so.
There's two.
Bonin 21's Karen.
No, Bonin 21 is not Karen. Bonin 21 is somebody else. That's what I was saying. Bonin 21, Eeyore, is not Karen. Karen is just Bonin. That's what I said in that. Of course, some people watching, they're like, they understand like Gray Eagle. There's other people like, what the hell are you talking about?
I know. It's message board drama. You know who's watching?
Donald. Is Donald still awake?
Randy Johnson's watching tonight.
Really?
Yeah. Someone who cares about the rules. He's happy that I got vaccinated. It'd be good to see Randy in a bar maybe next year. We have a pint.
Yeah, Randy, you'd come out with us. He's been out there with us before, hasn't he?
He's been out before. I'll enjoy seeing.
I've understanding some of them. They've been gathering in one of the suites while we've been gone.
I can see that.
Well, that's how it all started.
It is how all this started. Basically.
Suite 5. Tom's would know about that. Tom's is probably, I don't know if he's still online. Tom's, we know you're partying in one of the suites. Jerks. Corey is Bonin 21. Who's Corey? All right, now I gotta look it up.
You've got access to all the emails and everything.
Well, I have the and that's how I knew because the Karen was pretty obvious because the email was Karen. It was her first and last name at Comcast. So that's easy to figure out. But regular Bonin is not that person. Members. Let me see if I can find it.
All right.
Sorry, dude.
Something out because Karen had some of the similar things to Bonin in on Twitterverse. So I was trying to connect something there.
So Hapke says Bonin. So Bonin 21 is our troublemaker. Yes. But the thing is, what confused you is that Karen's Twitter handle is Bonin 21.
Yes, that's what confused me.
Yes, but her GPL handle is just Bonin. So Corey, maybe Corey with the last name of V something. I'm not even going to try to. I'm not going to out the guy because that's not very nice to do. But it starts with a V. Oh man, he switched back to the WCHA logo. He must get pissed because I always keep switching his avatar. The funny thing is he keeps it for like a month or two, and then he was like, "Oh, this is not the right." The thing is, he might be doing exclusively mobile, and a lot of times the avatar doesn't show on mobile, so he doesn't even know that. So he doesn't even know that his posts are
Eeyore.
Sad old Eeyore.
You know, it's hard to encourage someone to watch something that brings them so much pain.
So have you followed any of that Facebook group?
I mean, I have, just because it gives me some
I had to stop the notification. I had to stop some notifications.
Well, I've stopped all Facebook notifications just because it's just too distracting.
Yeah, it's too much. Boy, they're into it over there.
They are into it. They are passionate fans. That's who I want to subscribe to, whatever site I'm writing for. I mean, Randy Johnson, who's going to Pittsburgh for the Frozen Four, I'm sure wants those people subscribing to the Star Tribune. They're passionate hockey fans.
Yeah.
Wish I was going to Pittsburgh to write for the Athletic right now.
Oh, so Bonin is Corey V, who's posting here during the podcast. I don't recognize a Corey V, but
no, I've seen it.
I mean, maybe I just.
It's not quite as Debbie Downer because he can't react to goals against. He can't react to goals against during the podcast. He can only reinforce things. And there's not the Fire Bob type dog whistles like are on K-Fan and stuff.
I did go over to Sioux Sports the other day, and there was a couple people saying, "Why don't we have Sandelin as a coach?"
I mean, really? I mean, I like Sandelin's a pretty darn good coach.
I mean, but Barry's got a title too. He's not a terrible coach.
Barry's pretty good.
It's just the thing that's like he's a North Dakota guy.
Yeah. I mean, Sandelin's probably one of the best college hockey coaches out there. He gets, like, here's the thing with him. He gets some elite talent, but he just has another 20 guys who are just like hard to play against. Like, he recruits 20 guys who are really hard to play against, and then he recruits like 6 guys who are just like all NCHC type players. Mm-hmm. And even if 1 or 2 of those guys don't work out, he's usually got 4. You know what I mean? And then every 4 or 5 years, he gets somebody who, like, you didn't really expect to be as good as they are. And all of a sudden you've got Carson Kuhlman, who everybody would jump in front of a bus for, you know, or a Hunter Shepard, who is just like all of a sudden lights out goalie. He's a good coach.
And Peter, yes, the Eeyore thing was always punishment. I've done it many times. Because he
wouldn't do it if he's not just an idiot.
I mean, if he always wasn't so down and just like Eeyore.
Every time the Gophers give up a goal, it's the end of the year. Same old thing coming. And this year wasn't the same old. Like, it wasn't the same old the last 4 or 5 years.
But here's an award. Here's an award for you. Best entertainment. Go read the Facebook responses to Gopher hockey. Anytime they lose, anytime they're down in a period, you know, they always give the period updates on Facebook, or here's the final score. Go read those responses. These people are literally ready to jump off the Golden Gate Bridge and commit suicide.
I don't think that's it.
I mean, they are literally on the edge of the cliff wanting to jump. I mean, it's like
they're wanting to push somebody off the Golden Gate Bridge.
Well, okay, there you go. They want to push Moscow.
That's what they're there for.
Okay, yeah,
right. They want to push somebody off the bridge. They're the person saying, "Oh yeah, this sucks. Jump." They're not the person who would actually jump.
Yeah.
But you're right. You're right. Yeah, get off this bridge. Go see that water.
It is comical how bad it is. Same thing on the Star Tribune Star Tribune website.
Yeah, I mean, I understand how you want to do some comments to like generate a community and stuff, but man, like comments on newspapers and Facebook are just toxic. It's bad.
The Star Tribune with the political stuff is just, it is comical. It's literally here and here, or actually, it's way off the screen. I can't go out far enough. It's all these people and all these people over here.
Go gadget arm.
Whereas the most of us are, like kind of around here, Vigs, politically, we think. I mean, some of us go a little more this way, some of us go a little more that way, but that's, what, people? Yeah, we're getting political here. This is the United States, most of the people. The problem is these idiots are making all the decisions for the larger group here that are in the middle. We might have fiscal conservatives, but
you watch John Oliver? Is that what you?
I love John Oliver.
I mean, that's kind of the perspective, right? Even in IT, like I work at the U of M, that's my day job. I'm in IT. Like you hear the squeaky wheels from over here and the squeaky wheels from over here, but you don't hear here unless you like really target and like select users and interview and like figure it out and like, okay, what does our actual user base think of what we're doing? Like you have to go seek those people out. They're not going to just like the people who are just like, oh yeah, things are kind of okay. I wish we were doing this a little bit more. They don't get engaged enough unless you go out and find them. And the people who are on Facebook are on the, they want to shout it from the rooftops. The people who are on the Star Tribune commentary stuff, they want to like soapbox. It's tough. It's a tough world right now. And so many people don't understand that. Like they think that that's like a mainstream view that they see. They're like, oh yeah,
because that's all they hear.
That's all they hear.
They're hearing it. They're hearing the wings. And the thing is, most people, Vigs, are in the middle. I mean, we really are. We lean one way, we lean another. Yeah, somebody might be fiscally conservative, but on social issues, they're very liberal. It's like,
but it does turn into I support the Huskies, or I support the Bulldogs, or I support the or I support the Gophers. It's people go into that camp. And then all of a sudden, since the Big Ten formed, it goes, well, I don't care about anybody, but I hate the Big Ten. Like, that's like all of a sudden like a new fan base. It's like, oh, who do you support? I don't really support anybody, but I hate the Big Ten.
You are right.
That's who I support. You know what I mean?
People are so angry. We've been calling people out this for the years. Like, are you a fan of the Gophers or are you a fan of the WCHA?
Are you a fan of anybody? Like, who do you like college hockey? Like, I mean, is St. Thomas going to be your team because of whatever? I mean, seriously, like all these people are just like, oh, I hate the Big Ten. I don't pay attention to it anymore. But yet you still hop on all these boards to rip the Big Ten. So obviously you care a little bit somewhere inside about college hockey. And I missed the Final Five, maybe more than anyone. I had so many great weekends there. Mm-hmm. Like as a fan, as like a budding journalist kind of person who started to like just go to the event and cover it and do some freelance writing. I mean, it was a great weekend. I miss it. It was probably the best college hockey experience outside of going on road trips to like St. Cloud and Tech and things like that.
And the thing is, I never went to the WCHA Final Five when I was a fan because I'm like, I just never had the time. It's like, whatever. The first WCHA Final Five I covered when we got credential was 2007. Blake Wheeler. That was a good one to cover, Vigs.
Good one to cover.
That was really fun to be on the ice right after all that happened. Amazing. And we had some, and then for Minnesota, it was downhill after that because that was the last Final Five that they won. Was it the next year or the year after? I don't know if the next year was the Mankato thing, but the next year or the year after was the big series of Mankato, which was awesome, by the way. And then they got to the championship game after defeating CC in overtime. But my first real experience at the Final Five was 2007, which was the pinnacle of the Final Five. It was downhill ever since. Maybe it's us. Maybe it's us.
I can blame you for them. I can blame you for them never winning a regional outside the Twin Cities. The decline of the Gophers in the Final Five. the breaking up. It's not Barry Alvarez who's retiring. It's you.
I'll just go with it. That's fine. By the way, next Friday.
And you did miss that photo, so good job.
Yeah, everybody missed that photo. Jimmy was right in the corner. Jimmy didn't get it. You know, only one person got it, and it was like a fan. Some fan
took usually pretty good too.
Some fan took a shot with a little digital phone. It wasn't like an iPhone because there wasn't no iPhones back then, or it was just coming out. But somebody got it with their digital camera from the stands. I remember seeing one photo of Blake Wheeler diving or falling. So somebody got it. But what was worse was they did the intro video last year, which included a shot of Blake Wheeler scoring that goal. And it just happened to be the shot where I'm in it. Because the shot is from between the benches camera. And you see me in the background wearing my yellow shirt. So you can clearly see me behind the goal going, oh shit, I missed this.
It was a nothing play. It was amazing.
And then by the time I got my camera up, a North Dakota defenseman was right in the way, right blocking me to see Wheeler. So, but that's, a lot of these photos right here are from that Final Five. And that center shot, the team shot, I actually gave to the U. They ended up taking that photo, and it was in John Hill's office for years.
I've got a good one of Vanelli with McNaughton Cup. That is one of the better ones. That one.
That's Vanelli holding up the Broadmoor. Not McNaughton, but Broadmoor right there.
Yeah.
And they ended up taking that team photo. So that photo ended up being on display at the State Fair. Just the center one. This little center one. Oh, I'm trying to point right. This one right here. And they ended up cutting up that photo and using it on the season tickets. So it's like multiple season tickets. Players from that were on there.
They owe you, Jude. Really do. Are you gonna shoot photos next year?
I gave it to him.
You gonna shoot some photos next year?
I'd like to.
We gotta get you shooting. We gotta get you shooting and posting the photos. Maybe after the game, you and Jim can sit down and do some editing, and you can put them on the Twitter account. Just like I go through, and as I'm doing my transcription, maybe you can do some work before you go to the bar.
I could.
Maybe.
I do have better people. I do have better work because for many years I didn't have a laptop. Many years I didn't get a laptop until I moved into this house just a couple years ago. Then I was like, well, I had to wait till I got home.
So my goal is to write more next year. So whether it's at GPL or convincing the Athletic or finding another outlet, next year
Johnson, people not being able to figure out how to use a TV guide is my fault too. I can't find the channel. Why isn't FSN on my TV?
It's a lot harder to troubleshoot someone doing their Watch ESPN app. It's like, keep scrolling. It's like, use the search window. I don't know how to help
find you. Cornhole.
Yeah.
Find or at one time it was like find bowling. Find college bowling, and there's where your game is. That's where the Minnesota game started Sunday. It was female college bowling was on ESPNU at the time.
Well, I define that in the YouTube, the TV YouTube thing. I did find the cornhole and the bowling thing, but through the Watch ESPN thing, I was able to just find the game that way.
You see,
that's asking a lot.
I couldn't find that though. When I went and watched ESPN, when I was like they didn't have the icons up for Minnesota Mankato.
You had to go find it. It wasn't in like the what's live. You had to go find it.
Because usually it's right really there in the live stuff. Because all the other games were there, and then all of a sudden Minnesota games weren't there.
Yeah.
It's all downhill. We still have 26 people
At
watching.
least it's not all John Hill. At least it's not all John Hill, right? Hope he's having a good scouting experience this year.
I remember John Hill was let go, and literally the first game at Mariucci, he was there up in the club room, and it was just awkward.
He didn't know where else to go.
Where is he now?
Friday and Saturday nights. That's what I do. I don't know. I know he was scouting for a while. I don't know if he still is. But
who was the previous coach at Mankato? Smoking guy.
The Llama?
Mankato.
Jutting watch?
Jutting. Troy Jutting.
Troy Jutting.
I hear he's
the Jutting watch?
From what I've heard, he's selling cars. They banned me from senior night photos. Yes, senior night last season, one of the U photographers would not allow anyone else on the ice that night. We couldn't go down there. That was first time ever. He didn't want us taking away from the players looking at him when they take their photo. All the other 10, 12 years I'd done it, we could go down on the ice and get those pictures. But that night, that photographer banned us, banned everybody. And Deutsch is like, I that's his call. He can do whatever he wants. So last season, that ended early, obviously. No senior photos. I don't have anything on the ice that year. It was really goofy, Tim. But it wasn't just me. It was everyone else. They only wanted one photographer on the ice. He'll be the next assistant commissioner of the CCHA.
As soon as they get some revenue, I could see a job opening up for him. Yeah, why not?
They must have got a social media person because they have been tweeting. And
I don't think that's
I was
Don.
joking. I don't think that's Don himself tweeting.
Yeah. As Tom's indicated earlier, I don't think Don was going to teach a PR class anytime soon. Right? All right.
Time to call it, folks. It's already 12:20. You guys need to go. I got to go to bed. Man, I got to go up. I got to go into work tomorrow.
This was great, by the way. Really good nightcapper.
There you go, folks.
Thanks, everyone.
Eric Vigo, folks. Everyone have a great off season. We'll be back for overtime. October?
Yeah, October.
Early. It's either late September, early October. Depends on when they play their first game. We'll be back the week, like the Wednesday or whatever night. I'm sure it'll be Wednesday. We'll see. But that's when we'll be back, folks.
Everyone I like the Wednesdays. I thought Wednesdays were good, right?
Well, any day was for me. I'm home alone. I don't have my kids here anymore, so
I know Wednesdays are good for me.
I could do what I want. It's whatever you hire. Fake Don to run the Twitter account.
He's got full-time employment.
Fake Don's got his own hockey stuff going on now. I'll just say that.
Yep.
He is busy. Young family, busy.
Hard.
Does great play-by-play though. Sorry, that doesn't. That's about the only person I know who is who. I don't know who fake Bob is. I do know who fake Don is, though. And we're never telling that. I've wanted to get him on the podcast back when I'm like, we come on the show. And this was before I knew who it was. He's like, I can't. They would recognize my voice.
Wonder why.
And I'm like, well, we won't be live that show. We'll record the show and then I'll do like some funny because I'll have that person on another track and I could just mess with the voice.
Yeah.
We'll see. That would be fun, but
I like the idea of a GPL golf tournament, maybe. So I'll think about that.
You know what next spring though is? It's 20 years since we started playing POI ice.
Charity
We're going to have to get Sal and everyone, the original.
Do it at Mariucci. At Mariucci.
I think a year from now, we need to do that. So, all right, gang. Thanks for watching Overtime all this year. It's been fun. The YouTube thing's been fun. I like the interaction. It's been great.
Great.
Take it easy, Vigs. Maybe we'll see you this summer. We need to get the gang together this summer.
Yeah, stay safe.
We gotta push John King to have a party.
I know. Get safe. Get those shots.
Later, folks. Have a good year.